Greetings and welcome. This is the Gadget 360 show with me, Rajiv Makhni. Now we've got some brilliant gadgets for you. We'll start off with the Alienware X14. Small little gaming laptop, 14-inch form factor, obviously extremely portable. Looks very unique with the signature Alienware design, but how does it perform? Then the LG SOUNDBAR. This is a very interesting one that they've come up with. Powerful Dolby Atmos sound, streams hi-fi tracks through Wi-Fi, and very dynamically distributes sound across the room. But again, with the other big guys, does it really compare well? Stuffcool comes up with a new USB-C hub, comes with a USB-C to USB-A and an HDMI port. Small little thing meant to add ports missing, which are often missing from laptops nowadays, and is available at a really good price. You see other stuff like this, they price 10-15,000 bucks. This is 2,999. Then we'll move on to the Logitech Signature M650 Mouse. Works through a wireless receiver or Bluetooth, meant to work as a powerful tool for business users. And all the buttons can be freely customized for every app. So let's get started with today's show with all the news coming in from the world of gadgets.
Sometime in the next 2 months, Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Origins will be available to play on Xbox Game Pass. The game, which is a part of the long-running Assassin's Creed series based in ancient Egypt, will be another one of the popular additions to Xbox Game Pass for Ubisoft. Ubisoft is also planning to bring its Ubisoft Plus subscription service, which lets users play over 100 Ubisoft titles. Samsung earlier this week released the latest Neo QLED 8K and Neo QLED TVs in India. These are some of the most premium TVs from Samsung, with 3 models each with 4K and 8K resolutions. The sizes range from 55 inches to 85 inches. The price for the QLED 8K TVs starts at 3,24,000 rupees and the price for Neo QLED TVs starts at 1,14,990 rupees.
Now let's move on to our top story for today, and I'm very fascinated. This seems to be a new trend. Gaming laptops in small form factors, and this is the Alienware X14. So small little form factor, 14-inch laptop, very unusual, with the thermals and internals of a proper gaming laptop. Has a white outer shell made of aluminium alloy, weighs about just 2 kgs, but is also just 0.54 inches thick, hence very easy to carry around. Has a great set of ports, but all of them are located at the back of the laptop, none on the sides, which is kind of peculiar but makes sense once you start using it. Keyboard, one of the best we've ever experienced on any laptop, forget just gaming. Trackpad, small, requires an effort to register a click, hence not the best for gaming when you want excellent response time. It has an excellent screen, full HD 1080p screen with a 144Hz refresh rate and excellent performance with the 12th generation Intel i7 processor. Now it's great for gaming if the user buys the max out variant with all the top specs, and the battery will last for about 6 to 7 hours. Prices start off at about 1,69,990.
The laptop that we're here to talk about is truly unique. Whether it is great or not, we will get to it, but the fact that a laptop like this exists might pique the interest of some people who have been looking for such a laptop. This is the Alienware X14, the smallest laptop made by Alienware. Is it good for the price? Should you buy it? The answers are not simple, but we have a few minutes to explain how. So the X14 has a 14-inch display, which also means that the laptop is focused on portability. It carries the same design as we've come to expect from Alienware laptops. The outer shell is white, while the sides and everything you see once the lid opens is black. But the CNC aluminum white shell, as good as it looks, suffers from a big flaw. Since it is entirely white, it can get dirty rather easily and will need periodic cleanups. When closed, it is just 0.54 inches thick, which makes it one of the slimmest gaming laptops around. While the weight of almost 2 kgs is not the lightest, the thinness makes it very easy to travel with. And it does not come with a massive charging brick. The RGB is fairly limited, with the logo being the only part lit by it on the lid. As for the ports, there are plenty. A USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port with power delivery and display port, 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, 1 audio port and 1 HDMI 2.1 port. But the weird choice for such a great port selection is how all of them have been placed at the back of the laptop. So in case anything needs to be connected, the user has to tuck over to the back of the laptop. Back to opening the white lid, the keyboard you see is great. It has a great amount of travel and the typing experience is excellent and extremely comfortable. But compared to the keyboard, the trackpad easily falls short. It is small in size and requires some effort to register a click. The third thing that is visible when the laptop is opened is the 14-inch screen. Yes, it is not the biggest display you can find, it is just at the edge of being immersive. It is a full HD IPS panel with a smooth 144Hz refresh rate. It responds quickly with the 3 millisecond response time. It gets bright up to an impressive 377 nits, which works great for indoor use and sometimes for outdoor use. But what felt like a missed opportunity to us was the coverage of the DCI-P3 color gamut being limited to 77%. If this figure was 100%, the X14 could have easily become ideal for editing photos and videos with the power the laptop has. But for the most part, the screen works well for watching content and playing games. As for speakers coupled with the display, they are great but far from the best. The high and mid-level frequencies are great and the low end is present too, but barely. The webcam right above the screen is an average 720p one, which works well in well-lit environments but not so much otherwise. Alright, time to go under the keyboard. We received the variant that lies in the middle. It is powered by the 12th gen Intel Core i7-12700H CPU and the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Ti GPU. For regular work like doing stuff on the internet, replying to emails, typing out notes and editing a few photos, everything is buttery smooth. Even though the 144Hz refresh rate has the potential to make things smoother than they are, everything feels snappy regardless, with all of the credit going to the 12th gen Alder Lake CPUs from Intel and the new architecture. Similarly, editing photos felt extremely smooth as well, and when the GPU comes in, the performance is surprisingly great. The 3050 Ti is great for occasional gaming sessions at low to high graphics presets. But if you want to go to the extreme or the highest presets available, then the 3050 Ti is not going to be enough. In our experience with the games, we got a stable 60 FPS with most games, while some games fell below the 60 FPS count. As for the heat generated by internals while working at maximum load, the X14 manages it well despite the size. The fans in the vapor chambers work extremely well in managing the excessive heat and give sustained performance when needed. Even though the Intel processor gives a great boost in terms of performance, where it does potentially hurt the laptop is the battery life. As with all the power it can output, it also needs more juice for the same. And that is where we often felt that X14 could have done a lot better with AMD's Ryzen series chips. Despite that, for a gaming laptop, it would last for about 5 to 7 hours on a workday at the very most, which is decent for a gaming laptop powered by a 12th gen Intel processor. So the Alienware X14 is truly unique. It carries a semi-futuristic design. It looks and feels amazing with a great display, a great set of ports, with an odd location, an amazing keyboard, a trackpad that does the job and powerful performance. And still the chassis is small and extremely portable. And if the user gets the RTX 3060 variant, it will also double as an extremely capable gaming machine for the intense gaming sessions. Even though the base variant starts at 1,69,990, we will recommend you to get only the maxed out variant priced at 1,99,990 if portability and power are in your mind.
Now let's move on to soundbar territory. This is LG with their new soundbar. It's a really long one, 144 centimeters. So if you have a TV that measures around 55 inches, it will look very small in comparison to this soundbar. Now it has multiple drivers to create sound with the soundbar, rear channel speaker, the subwoofer combined with multiple drivers to create that amazing 360-degree Dolby Atmos experience. Now audio that can actually make a user feel like they're in a movie they're watching. The speaker and the subwoofer connect wirelessly to the soundbar, but need to be attached to a power socket, obviously, to be switched on. Excellent audio performance. We really liked it. Great detailed sound. Bass is great, but not as good as the sharpness of the details. Has Chromecast built in, so users can stream music through Wi-Fi. It's priced at about 90,000 rupees.
If the price determined the size of the product, the soundbar we're talking about today would proportionately meet the big price tag with its size. This is the LG SP11RA soundbar, a huge soundbar that comes with a subwoofer and 2 additional speakers to deliver powerful Dolby Atmos sound. And today we find out how well it does that. So as we said, the soundbar is big. It is 144 centimeters long and will make any TV under 55 inches look small. This size looks promising for a soundbar that is meant to surround you with sound, but at the same time expect it to be oversized for the average TV cabinet like it was for ours. What does not seem to be indicative of the price is the finish of the soundbar. It is very raw and minimal. Matte black finish on the top, mesh grille on the front and sides. None of it feels extremely premium to the touch. Inside the mesh grille, the left, right and center channels are handled by 20mm silk dome tweeters along with a 10cm racetrack driver. And all of this is topped by a pair of 7cm Atmos drivers. There is also a mic for automatic sound calibration according to the dimensions of the room and voice control through Google Assistant or Alexa. On the front is also a small scrolling LED screen that shows the current mode of input. The rest of the sound support crew for the soundbar works wirelessly, although they will need to be near a socket to be powered on. The sub is modest in size with an 18cm bass driver inside it. The 2 rear speakers have 76mm front-facing drivers along with 63mm top-firing Atmos drivers. When it comes to connectivity, there is an HDMI EARC port behind it, which connects with the TV for lossless Dolby Atmos output, along with 2 more HDMI 2.1 ports that support 4K Dolby Vision pass-through. The soundbar also has Chromecast built-in, so the user can stream hi-fi tracks through Wi-Fi. Enough about the diameters of the drivers, the features and connectivity. Let us now finally find out how it sounds. The first and foremost thing that one hears when the soundbar and everything around it gets to work is just how well the sound surrounds you. The soundscape is large and wide and envelopes you entirely, and the soundbar is smart enough to dynamically distribute it across the entire room. The Dolby Atmos output puts the viewer right into the scene. The sounds don't come just from the left or the right, but from everywhere around the viewer. So if it rains in the scene, do not go out. If an animal is squealing from a tree across the forest, remember that you live in a city. All of the high-frequency elements sound detailed, sharp and clear, but where we felt the sound lacked was the low end, as the subwoofer misses the mark with landing the heavy and satisfying bassy notes. The LG soundbar SP11RA is priced at 89,990 rupees, which is a big premium price. And for that price, the user gets connectivity, Wi-Fi streaming capabilities, great Dolby Atmos performance and sharp detailed sound. Yes, the sound does lack the bass that one might be satisfied with, but the sound is still fulfilling, and so for this price, we will firmly recommend the SP11RA.
Let's move on now to Stuffcool's new 4-in-1 USB-C hub. Has 4 of the most commonly used ports on it, connects to a laptop through the USB-C port. The one hub this is that can drive an external display, add USB-C accessories, and charging the laptop as well. Has a USB-C port which allows 100-watt charging of the laptop through power delivery, and comes with a USB-A 3.0 port which can be used to attach an external SSD or hard drive, and it's priced really well for everything it does.
With all the laptops we have been talking about, it's time to talk about a small little device that can make them a part of a work from home setup all through one single cable. This is the Stuffcool Earl, a 4-in-1 USB-C hub. It is smaller than most of the USB hubs while carrying a decent amount of ports, and let us tell you whether it is worth your time and your money or not. Most people say that a device like the Earl is necessary for only MacBook users. While that stands true for most users using the MacBooks from 2020 or older, the USB hub can also make any laptop versatile by using the USB-C port on it. How does it do that? The Earl attaches itself through the USB cable. There are 4 ports on it: a USB-C port, a USB-A 3.0 port, a USB-A 2.0 port, and an HDMI port. The USB-C port is capable of connecting to a 100-watt power delivery charger and by extension charging the connected laptop. The USB-A 3.0 port is a high-speed port that can be used to connect an SSD or hard drive to enable free data transfer between the two devices. And the USB-A 2.0 port can be used to attach accessories or wireless receivers for peripherals like keyboard and mouse. But why would you need that? Well, what is a work from home setup without a great and big monitor? And that is where the HDMI port comes in. The HDMI port on the USB hub is a powerful one as it can be used to drive a display going up to 4K. Although, the output will be limited to 30Hz at that resolution, which is fair given the size of the hub. So the user can hook up the monitor with the USB hub to be able to use the laptop while it is closed along with the keyboard and mouse. So through the ear, a monitor is being driven, a keyboard and mouse are connected, and external storage has been added, all while the laptop is being charged. And all of this works through a single USB-C port being used on the laptop. Even though such kind of usage causes the hub to heat up, it works well throughout. And the work desk becomes as simple as plug and play for the user. And of course, the user can carry the Earl along and use it to connect whatever is required throughout the day. Hence, if you've been looking to simplify your work desk at home, or you have a MacBook Air and you need to have more ports on it, the Stuffcool Earl 4-in-1 USB-C hub will be our firm recommendation for you at a rather affordable price of $2,999.
Let's take a quick break right now. On the show, when we come back, lots more happening. Now let's move on to the Logitech Signature M650 Mouse. Connects with your computer or laptop through a wireless receiver or through Bluetooth. Comes in two different sizes, which is a little unusual for a mouse system, right? And variations for both left and right-handed people. So they've really thought it out. The left and right mouse buttons are silent and barely make a sound when pressed. Even though the click is silent, the feedback from the click is very tactile. Two programmable buttons on the side of the thumb, which can be set to many different actions and functions, which can be specific to particular apps or any way that you actually want to use it. This is ideal for business users. If you want to use an Excel sheet separately from, let's say, another app. Has rubberized edges on the side, which makes it very easier to hold. And the scroll wheel is also really smart. It can spin freely when flicked for when the user needs to quickly scroll through a web page or an Excel sheet. And you can also customize it differently. Works with two AA batteries, which can keep it going for 2 years. Price, 2,595 rupees.
We've been talking about many computer peripherals for the last few weeks, but the one we're talking about today has been designed as a tool for business. It has been designed to make everything easier for a business user while also being extremely simple at the same time. This is the Logitech Signature M650 Mouse. Let us tell you how it does that. So the M650 comes in 4 different variants. It has 2 sizes and both sizes come in both left and right hand configurations. So, no matter what the preferred hand or the size of the hand of the user, they can easily use the mouse. The design of the mouse is pretty simple. It looks like any other mouse, but it does have a few tricks up its sleeve. The sides are rubberized for better grip. The main left and right buttons are silent and barely audible when clicked, but at the same time the response is crisp and tactile. The scroll wheel is smart too. It works normally as one expects, but when it is flicked, it spins freely. This comes in handy when the user needs to scroll through a web page or an Excel sheet quickly. On the side where the thumb sits, there are 2 buttons. By default, they are meant to work as forward and back buttons on Google Chrome and some other apps. But when the user opens the Logi Options Plus app, they can add one of the supported apps and configure the controls of these 2 buttons specifically for that app. If the user uses Excel a lot, they can assign controls to add columns or rows through the 2 buttons and so on. This enables business users to make this mouse into a supremely productive tool to help with their work. As for the battery, the mouse is powered by a AA battery which can keep it on for 2 years. And right along the battery slot is also a slot for the wireless receiver to ensure that it is never lost. And this is exactly how the M650 becomes a handy tool for a business user while also being pretty simple and straightforward. And therefore, for every user looking for a mouse that is easy to use and can be easily packed away in a bag with simple and smart features, we will firmly recommend the Logitech Signature M650 Mouse for the price of 2,595 rupees.
That then was the Gadget 360 show for this week. Lots coming up next week. Do join me on the show.